To say Rhode Island needs more marijuana shops.
And as you can see on the billboards, there are already dispensaries in business. They got in years ago under the old rules. NBC 10's Brian Crandall sits down with the state cannabis leaders to see what we can expect with the expansion. Brian?
Yeah, Patrice Jean, more expected shops as up to 24 licenses will be up for grabs soon. The boss telling me what not to expect as well, as that application window is open until the end of the year.
It's not all that hard to find a place to buy cannabis these days, and it will get easier in Rhode Island, with a caution.
This is not going to be like a Dunkin' Donuts style expansion like we've seen across the state borders.
The state's top regulator, Cannabis Control Commission Chair Kim Ahern, points to Massachusetts, where the first dispensaries opened almost 7 years ago, and about 400 more have cropped up since. Maybe too crowded.
What happens? Well, they eventually potentially go out of business. And so I think that we're going to let the market dictate what we actually have, but we've certainly already seen a very high interest in what we just recently opened.
Do you expect to give out 24, and is there a concern that Rhode Island really doesn't need that many?
Well, that's come up, certainly.
Michelle Reddish runs Rhode Island's cannabis office.
Will we license 24? That remains to be seen. But I do think that should we get to that point, we'll onboard those licensees in a fashion where the market will be able to sustain it.
And whatever happens won't be overnight.
You'll see a slow, I think, and thoughtful and deliberate expansion of the additional retail stores. Is it too slow? I think it's been appropriately timed, and I think, some individuals, some groups maybe would want us to move a little bit faster, but really this is a significant undertaking.
How long do you think it might be until we actually see a dispensary open?
Yeah, I think it will depend on the individual licensee. So I think it's at some point in 2026.
Ahern points to the potential for lawsuits as a possible stumbling block.
But that is part of my hesitation in answering your question.
Rhode Island currently has 7 dispensaries, first licensed for medical marijuana and allowed to sell recreational after that became legal in 2022. The first 3 compassion centers opened more than a decade ago. And in 2021, a ping pong ball lottery was held to pick 6 more. But 4 years after that, 2 have still yet to open. One planned for Woonsocket first met local opposition, then the owners backed out earlier this year. The state is now giving the only interested runner-up applicant from that lottery a shot at getting up and running. And another planned for Foster has been tied up in red tape. The Cannabis Control Commission recently gave the owner another extension, though a competitor has filed court action, claiming the CCC is wrongly giving too many chances.
We learned a lot from that process that I hope will make the future expansion of this industry a little bit easier.
Meanwhile, retail sales at the existing 7 dispensaries have reached their highest amounts in just the last 2 months, just under $9 million in both July and August. I'm Brian Crandall, NBC 10 News.